seen before you can be loved.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.
And now, it's time for Radio Jobline with your host, Scott Possessor, right here on 103.9 LI News Radio.
Welcome, everybody. It must be Saturday afternoon between 2 and 3 p.m., and that song you just heard is called Franklin's Tower, but it's part of a suite of music that begins with a song called Help on the Way. And I like to think that what Radio Jobline is doing is helping you. We do it every week. We bring companies on the show. We discuss topics. We talk about how to get a job. What's more important than that? We talk about how to succeed on your job. And what's more important than that? We bring companies on the show that want to hire you. And what's more important than that? And then we talk about the issues of Long Island. We got traffic congestion coming up in the near future. We're talking about all kinds of issues that affect the business and workplace of Long Island right here on Radio Jobline. We have a great show for you today. We intended to have two companies join us. One cannot make it at the last minute. We had Jillian Bourne from Valiant. She warned us that she was pregnant and might not be able to make the show, and sure enough, that's what happened. And then her backup also had a medical issue, so we lost them completely. But joining us in the studio is Rajiv Jadhav, the CEO and founder of RSquare Media, a company that specializes in web design and social media marketing. Rajiv's company was recently awarded the 2017 Minority Business of the Year Award, and his clients include a wide variety of companies, including Axiom, Citi, and Ripple Analytics. Welcome, Rajiv.
Thank you so much for having me.
Great to have you. I remember having you, was it a year ago, 2 years ago?
Yeah, it might have been like a year and a half ago.
Okay,
yeah.
So welcome back.
Thank you so much.
And that's why I was able to pronounce your name correctly.
You got it right that time, too.
Also joining us in the booth is Charles Thurer, our new intern. Charles has been impressing me all over the place, booking shows. We're a good month and a half ahead of. Charles, could you give your email address for people that would like to perhaps be on Radio Jobline?
Sure, Scott. It's thurcs@farmingdale.edu.
Say it again.
thurcs@farmingdale.edu.
Okay, if you would like to be on Radio Jobline, you can always write to me, Scott@linewsradio.com, or you can go directly to Charles. Charles will put you on the calendar, check it out with me, and we'll come up with a topic, and you'll be off and running. So, Charles, also, do you have a commercial for us today?
Yes, sir.
Let's hear it.
Okay. BizShout is a business casual platform that fits in between Facebook and LinkedIn to promote yourself or your business with unique shouts. For their first service, they built a creative resume portfolio that blends the rich content of elevator pitches and demonstration videos with traditional resume information to help land your dream job. It's free, and you should check it out at bizshout.com.
All right, thank you, Charles.
Awesome.
Great stuff, and a great. We want to give a shout out to Charlie Lee, who is our friend, and I'm going to give you the warning I always give you, Charlie. If you become right there in position between Facebook and LinkedIn, we are here for our 10%. We just want to remind you of that. And also, we have with us Brian Merrims, our fabulous producer, who's with us every week. Hello, Brian. And let's go back to Rajiv. So, Rajiv, tell us about RSquare. Now, because we only have the one company today, we're not only going to talk about the company, but we have a chance to dive into social media, which is what your company does. I don't think there's a more interesting topic out there, to be honest with you.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's ruling the world right now. And I can remember when Twitter came out, I remember saying, I don't know if this is going to amount to anything. You're right, 140 characters.
Right.
Meanwhile, where would Donald Trump be without it? And I mean, look at what has happened to the world. It's Twitter crazy and Facebook nuts. You can't go anywhere without your friends taking pictures of you at dinner, taking pictures of food, taking pictures of 2 glasses of wine together, and putting them on Facebook, going completely crazy. So social media dominates, and we're definitely going to dive into that today. But first, tell us about the company, the genesis of the company, the name of the company, how long you've been in business, what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, thank you so much for having me back on the show. It was really amazing the last time I was on, and I was actually saying, please have me back on. This is an amazing show, and I definitely want to be back on. So thank you for that.
You're very welcome.
So RSquare Media, we're a creative digital marketing company which is focused on enhanced online visibility. We are guided by one singular philosophy, which is you have to be seen before you can be loved. What that means is we help our businesses be seen by their intended target audience long enough for that audience to choose them over competition. And we're able to do this by helping them dominate Google page 1, as well as being seen on relevant platforms like social media, as well as by creating disruptive, original, engaging content like animated videos.
Interesting. Okay, and how long have you been in business? Where are you?
Right, so we're headquartered at the RXR Plaza, which is right across the street from the new Nassau Coliseum, home of the Long Island Nets.
Right.
And adjacent or across the street, diagonally across the street from Hofstra College.
Right.
And yeah, that's where we're located. We've been in business 6 years. Like you said, we recently won the 2017 Minority Business of the Year award.
Right.
The other awardees from the organization that recognized us were the MTA and Con Edison.
Fabulous.
Yeah, those two were the other awardees.
Great companies.
Yeah,
great
absolutely.
Company. Great company. Okay, that's great. Yes, Charles.
Yes, so I was talking with Rajiv before the show, and we were talking about internships, and I want to know maybe if you could tell everyone about your internship program that you offer.
Yeah, that's a great question. So we have a very unique internship program that differs from perhaps many other companies out there. So all of our internships, first of all, are ongoing. So yes, we do have the classic summer internship, but we also have a winter internship as well as a fall internship. And what separates us from anyone else is that all internships are 100% remote, which means that the candidate can work from the comfort and luxury of their home, work sitting in their PJs all day long, work from their bedroom, living room, favorite coffee shop, library, whatever.
Brian, that's what you do, right? The pajamas all day long? No?
I'm actually in my pajamas right now, Scott.
All right, keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, so even for the interview process, that also is done remote. So we have a proprietary video link that we send candidates. They simply click that link and that takes them into the video call, and that's how we interview them. And the interview is not like your classic panel stress interview. It's a very chill conversation that we have with the candidate. It usually lasts maybe 5-10 minutes, and it's usually followed up by some follow-up requests, like a request to see their work or their portfolio or some recent relevant experience or anything like that. And usually once that process completes, we then give the candidate a test assignment, and that test assignment is based on the candidate's like area of strength or passion area. So if the candidate is really gung-ho about photography, we'll give them a photography assignment. If they're really passionate about writing, we'll give them a writing assignment. If they're really passionate about research or Facebook management, we'll give them an opportunity to create a Facebook strategy for one of our clients. So the process is we pair the candidate based on his or her strength and passion areas with respective real clients that we work on. And we also, and it's a well-rounded internship because the candidate also does get exposed to other areas of the business, including his or her passion area, like business development or web design or strategy or making sales presentations, things like that. And it's also coupled with an ongoing mentorship program, which is done directly by me one-on-one with them. It's usually every 2 weeks that I would spend like an hour or so with them going over what they want from the internship, what are their career goals, what kind of companies they're targeting, what should their job search strategy be, what does their resume look like, how they should tidy up their social media posts, how they should not totally be themselves completely, at least until they get the job,
right,
and for maybe 6 months after, and then maybe kind of be themselves if they want to do that.
All right, so you have internships open now?
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about what you have open now and when people should apply, all that detail.
Right. So we primarily are looking for candidates to fill two main areas. One is social media. So social media encompasses a vast array of skill sets. So we're looking at people that are good in writing, drawing, graphic design, video, photography, animation, sound mixing, jingle writing, etc. So anything creative, that's social media. We can find something amazing for them to do. And then the other discipline is business development. So that allows for candidates to start getting a percentage of whatever business they refer to us on an ongoing basis. So it's not just a one-time fee. It's a recurring, ongoing fee that they would receive for the life of the business that they refer. So that could be $200,000, $500,000 a month, ongoing.
Excellent. Now, I should ask you, just for the argument,
Sure.
I mean, do you also have regular jobs open too, that people who have experience would want to apply for as well? And while we're on the subject.
Absolutely, yeah. So we do have regular jobs as well in those two areas. In fact, what we tell all of our interns is that the internship initially starts off as unpaid, and it converts to becoming a paid internship immediately the moment the candidate displays the ability to produce error-free work unsupervised. From that moment, and if they're able to produce that kind of work consistently, then it immediately converts to a paid position.
But they can get credit from their school, though, even if they don't get paid, right?
Absolutely.
So either way, it's still going to work for them.
It's still a win-win, yeah.
Definitely.
It's still a win-win.
That's great stuff. Charles, what do you think?
I think that's awesome. That sounds great.
Are you interested?
Possibly, yeah.
You going to have time for this, Charles?
I'm going to probably do it maybe after this internship.
All right, Charles got time for everything. But no, that sounds really interesting stuff. By the way, give people a website or an email address or something where they can reach out if they want to join, if they want to do this.
Yeah, so the email that they can send to is help@rsquare.media. That's HELP as in Peter, at RSquare, that's RSquare.media, MEDIA. So it's not RSquareMedia.com. That's the old email.
Right.
The new one is RSquare.media.
Okay, got it. And so if you're out there looking for an internship and you've been listening to the last 3 shows we did, which all were on internships, and we just kind of did some chumming, and now we got people listening. Now we have a perfect internship for them to go to, and they can work remotely and learn about the really cool field of social media. So
yeah, and we find, so even if, let's say, the candidate is a complete noob, as they say, noob as in newbie, does not know too much about anything, that's fine too. What we are really looking for is the candidate's ability to be trainable and to take direction well, and then to be able to execute based on direction. So there is a full onboarding and a full training included. And that is training done by usually it's me that's doing the training one-on-one with the candidate. So they do get that one-on-one time with me. And the training also includes that a little bit of that mentorship as well to help them understand the finer details of how they present themselves, either on the phone or on email, etc. So that's an ongoing thing. And so so there really is no reason why somebody would not want to apply, because like I said, the gate's wide open for anyone.
It's amazing stuff. It's really great. And I like the idea that they can do it remotely, too, because students are running around and trying to get to class and don't have cars sometimes. It's really difficult. So, you're opening up the market. Smart move by making it remote.
Absolutely. And in fact, for the last 2 years or 3 years in a row, we've been partnering with the New York Department of Labor by employing, at-risk youth. And disadvantaged youth, kids with like some sort of issues that they have. But we've been like hiring them as interns ongoing, and it's been a very, very successful internship, because very often we find that traditional employers may overlook these kids for whatever reason. Maybe they have certain personality attributes or whatever, but they have like the raw creativity and ability that they have is really, very, surprising, and it's amazing. And it's something that we welcome.
Well, no wonder you got the 2017 Minority Business of the Year Award, because that's very forward thinking, and that's really paying it forward, Rajiv. So,
absolutely.
So kudos to you.
Thank you so much.
Really well done. Now, listen, I'm going to give you a job today. Because you think you're just here to talk about your company. No. You're here to educate us about social media, too.
Absolutely.
And in particular, Radio Jobline. Now, we've been on the air for 4 years, We were on TV for 24 years.
Wow.
So altogether 28 years. We've been doing the same job line, kind of carrying the job line torch, for lack of a better word, and trying to help people get jobs on radio.
Nice.
But we're slowly but surely getting into social media. We have been for the last 4 years. We have I have 6,000 connections on my LinkedIn account, and every time I post something about this show, I get at least 25 likes.
Nice.
Okay. Same thing with Twitter, at least 25. Instagram, same thing. And we did the math one day, and we decided that we're getting into 100,000 news feeds.
Nice.
Because of the way it pivots off the ones that we already have with all the likes. So, but we're not satisfied. We want more.
Absolutely.
Then now we're putting up Instagram videos, which Charles takes every week, by the way, and posts them, and you can look at them, folks, just by going to Instagram and searching for Radio Jobline, 2 words, and up will come hundreds of videos we have put up there over the last 4 years. Usually about 3 per show, about a minute each, just to give people a taste, so they'll tune in. They'll tune in. The idea is to get them to tune in, not to give them the whole show. But now I've been thinking that Facebook is offering a sort of a live,
live
opportunity, live broadcast, and Instagram is also doing that. I'm getting a lot of messages lately from my Instagram account saying, "Hey, Joe, so and so just started a live broadcast."
Correct.
LinkedIn, from what you just told me, Rajiv, I wouldn't have known it otherwise. You just told me they now allow you to post videos.
Yes.
So we could be posting our show, our weekly show, on LinkedIn.
Absolutely.
Instead of just uploading it to YouTube and creating a link.
Correct.
Right? So, but what else can we do? And then when you're done answering this question, we're going to talk about getting on page 1.
Okay, awesome. So, one of the one element that connects all social media is the use of hashtags.
Mm-hmm.
So people often, are a little bit confused, or they really don't know what a hashtag is.
Mm-hmm.
So a hashtag, very simply, is the hash symbol, or what was formerly called the number symbol, followed by a series of letters without any spaces. So there's no space between the letter and the hash symbol, as well as any space between. So if you have best time ever, so you would actually write hash best time ever without any spaces at all. So that's usually how hashtags work. That's how hashtags are written.
Well, why do people need the hashtag?
So hashtags are basically a descriptor to tell the platform how to classify or archive this content. So it's just like, think of it as chapters in a book with more descriptors as to what this piece of content actually is. So this way, when somebody is searching for something, those searches are made up of keywords. And when those keywords align with the keywords being used in your hashtags, that's how that content is then discovered. So if you have a hashtag that says jobs, hashtag jobs is one of your hashtags in the piece of content that you upload on Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn, and somebody is typing jobs, Long Island jobs on LinkedIn. Because of those 2 keywords matching, there's a very high likelihood of your content coming up at the top of the search result on LinkedIn.
Which is what everybody wants.
Exactly.
Which is to be as close to the top of the search result as they can possibly be.
Exactly.
Okay. And let's talk about why that's so important. I mean, it seems to me, let me just use myself. If I'm searching for something, I ignore the first 2 because I know they're paid. And then I look down the page, and I usually don't go past page 1.
Correct.
I mean, if I have to go to page 2, I will. But if it's on page 3, I'm never going to see it. I am never going to see it. So never.
Right.
So you got to be on page 1 or 2.
That's right.
But how do people get on page 1? How's the pay-per-click thing working out?
Yeah. So you've actually asked like many questions.
Yeah.
So I'll try and kind of like break it down a little bit. So the first thing that you asked was, why is it important to be on page 1? So the reason, the data, it's interesting that you asked this, because I was just looking at the data to help a client a few weeks ago. So I have this data fresh in my mind. So what the data suggests is that actually 65% of people online don't go past the middle of page 1. And that middle means position number 5. So 1 through 5 are the ones that are most looked at. I would say even 1, 2, and 3 are the most looked at. 4 and 5, okay. And then below 5 to 10, even though it's on page 1, is still not looked at as much as the top 2. So that's the reason why you want to be on the top of page one and not just on page one.
Let me just hit you, though, because I think
Sure.
most people now, if maybe they don't, but certainly I do, and a lot of people do, know that those first two are paid.
Absolutely, because Google identifies it by having that word ad there, and then you have that little piece of content. So it is marked as an advertisement quite, openly. So
But they don't. That doesn't make them the best leads. That doesn't make them.
No, it's a paid
it's a
insert.
paid. It's a paid thing.
Absolutely.
So a lot of people like me, for example, I will skip the first two.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. In fact, the data suggests that from whatever ads are seen, only 10% of them are clicked on for that very reason. So the customer behavior is such that they've now over the last 10 years have wisened up to the fact that those are in fact paid ads, and they'll then skip over that and look at the organic listings, which are the 1 to 10 listings on each page.
Okay, we have a news break coming up. We're going to talk so much more about this in the second half. We're going to talk about getting on page one. How do you get on page one? How do you make sure you stay on page one?
Yeah, you hire us.
You got to hire a firm to do it.
That's right.
So much more to talk about. You're listening to Radio Jobline with Scott Possessor and Charles Thurer here on 103.9 FM. We are with you every Saturday afternoon. We'll be right back after this break.
And now, welcome back to Radio Jobline with your host, Scott Possessor, right here on LI News Radio.
Welcome, everybody. You are listening to the second half of Saturday afternoon's Radio Jobline with Scott Possessor. We're here for you every Saturday afternoon, and we have one goal in mind: to help you. There isn't another radio show like this. Go from California to New Hampshire. You will not find a job hunting radio show anywhere in the United States of America, and as far as we're concerned, anywhere in the world. So you're listening to it right now. We talk about all the topics there are, but one of my favorite topics is social media. I'm involved in it too. I used to be in marketing, so I'm very familiar with it, but not nearly as much as our guest Rajiv Jadhav, who is the CEO and founder of RSquare Media. He told us all about the company earlier in the show, and now we're starting to dive into what's happening in the world of social media. What are the platforms that are hot? What is all this importance about being on page one? I think we just covered that. When somebody searches for something, I mean, I do searches every day. I must do 20 searches every day of my life. And I've learned to ignore the first two because I know they're paid.
Right.
Okay, that doesn't make them bad, but it doesn't make them good.
Right.
Okay, so I go to the organic searches.
Correct.
So tell us, what if somebody wants to be on page one, but they're not? How do they get there?
Right. So, in fact, I'll start off with a small joke. Maybe you've heard of this joke. So there's this joke that says, "How do you hide a dead body? You put it on page 2."
That's great.
Yeah,
that's great.
So as far as how do you be on page one? There are a number of variables that determine why a certain listing is on page one. And as you know, Google changes its algorithm every year or every 9 months, I should say. They call their algorithms cool animal names. So there's been panda, there's been penguin, there's been hummingbird, there's been something else, Fred even. So all these different algorithms tell developers and the web as to what Google finds important and relevant to and what will influence its search results. So one of the things is your website needs to be mobile friendly because as you know, Google derives 95% of its revenue from advertising. So because of that, they want for the end user experience to be great. And since 65 to 75% of people are now accessing the web primarily from their mobile device, they want for that experience to be great. So because of that, your website needs to be mobile friendly. And if it's not, then that website will be pushed down in the search result in favor of a website that is. So that's how Google punishes you for not being mobile friendly.
All right, so step one would definitely be mobile friendly.
Yes, your website definitely wants to be mobile friendly. Secondly is whatever the way that you label the content on your website needs to align with the kind of content that's on your website. So what I mean is, so if let's say you're using a keyword that says, best jobs in the world, but your content is about a car dealership, it doesn't per se align directly. So your content should align very directly with how you're labeling your keywords, because Google looks at that correlation very, very closely. And if they find out that you're using a keyword just because it's a hot keyword, but the content does not support it at all, that's another X against you.
Right.
So you need to be very careful as to the kind of content. The content needs to align with the keywords that you use, and vice versa. Another thing is your website, the font on your website should be large enough to be easily read on a mobile device. So if it's this really microscopic font, that's another negative.
So Google doesn't like that either.
They don't like it either.
Okay.
So it should be at least font size 14, 16, 18.
Right.
That's a good font size that's easily read by people of all ages.
Right.
And now, since more so slightly older people are using the mobile as well, so especially like baby boomers, especially for them, we want for that experience to be great. And if it's a microscopic font size, then it's gonna
if you can't even kick off the right pull down menu because your finger is too big. Because the website was constructed not thinking that it had to be mobile friendly.
Exactly.
A lot of old websites are like that.
Exactly. So
they're getting punished.
Oh, they're getting punished in a big way. And then if your website does not have any video content on it, so that's another negative, because Google understands the user trend, and people would much rather watch than read. And having video on your website tells the visitor that I know what you're interested in, and I'm serving it to you in the most easy way possible. So having video elements on the web page helps for a better user experience. Another thing that Google looks at is the quantity of text that you have. So if, let's say, your web page has only, let's say, 120 characters, so that's really, really low.
Nothing.
Google says you should have at least 350 characters per page. Because if it's less than that, then it's not really considered a page.
Does it work the other way? If you have 10,000 characters, is it more powerful?
That's fine, yeah. That's absolutely fine. And provided the content is kind of structured a way to allow for easy reading, like in paragraphs and indents and things like that, and it's easy to read, easy to consume, then yes, then you can have 10,000, 20,000 even.
How else can we make Google happy?
Yeah, the other ways to make it happy is Google likes that a lot of people are coming to your website organically. That's what it likes the best. So it likes for new people, not repeat visitors. I mean, repeat visitors, of course, is a metric that's great, and we want to keep that. But it likes for new people to be finding your website, number one. And number two, they like for those visitors to stay on your website for at least 2 minutes. If it's less than 2 minutes, that means your bounce rate is really high. Bounce rate means people coming and then leaving. So it's just like that phrase, I got a bounce. So that's exactly what it is.
Right.
If you come in and leave, then Google doesn't like that.
And you want page views.
Yes.
Right. Go ahead, Charles.
Yeah, so I know for the past few minutes we've been talking about Google and everything, and something that just came on my mind is that, Google started out as this very small company. It was founded by some college students, I think, in like the late 90s, I want to say.
Yep.
So the question I have for you, Rajiv, is would you say that Google is like this big company today? Like, would you think that back then they would become the big company that they are today, essentially?
So it's kind of like this. That's a great question. Thank you for that. So I would say it's the answer to your question is the same answer as to, people initially thought that Facebook would be another MySpace and it would die a natural death really fast. But the reason why that didn't happen, and it's the same reason why Google still is the king of search, is because they've innovated. And they continue to innovate. And it's for that reason they're constantly, reinventing the process and staying miles ahead of the competition. So they see the new wave, they innovate, and then before the competition can even come up to where they were, they've already innovated. So they're already 5 years ahead of the competition again, and they keep doing that,
Yeah.
So that's the secret as to, why Facebook is still reigning supreme. Like, so for example, Facebook has been acquiring companies left, right, and center. They acquired WhatsApp. So now, they have that global, messaging system under their hood. As you know, Messenger has evolved a great deal. You can do like a whole number of things within the Messenger environment as well, like businesses doing transactions with customers through the Messenger environment as well. So that's an innovation that, Facebook is doing. Now Facebook natively supports video. So they're battling with YouTube. Facebook is even competing with Craigslist, since you can, upload, like classifieds and stuff, and, on many of these local groups, if you want to buy and sell, so it's competing on that front too. You can even do e-commerce on Facebook, since Facebook fan pages natively support e-commerce and transactions. And Facebook fan pages also support apps, just like you have the apps on your phone. So you can even have a whole number of apps that can be created for your specific Facebook page. So in fact, our company, we do a lot of Facebook app customization and design to help deliver that extra, service and functionality to those pages. So we've actually helped schools sell their programs and packages through those e-commerce Facebook apps, for instance. And we've also created custom video apps with custom built-in call to action, so that if, let's say, in that video app, you have a video of, a certain person getting the key to the city of Fort Myers, Florida, and then one of the custom call to action is sign up to the newsletter, donate, visit the website, etc. So those custom call to actions and those custom experiences can be now built into the entire, Facebook ecosystem.
I had a bad experience with Facebook. And ever since then, I've been very turned off to it. But we had a guy listening to my radio show and writing to me on Facebook every week. But what he would write about is how horrible the show was. How much he hated me, couldn't stand me. This guy thinks this, he thinks that. And it was just an arrogant, mess. And I'm reading this thing every week. So first I just let it go. And then I started writing back to him. I said, why are you listening to my show? If you hate it so much, listen to something else. Go watch a basketball game. What are you doing? And I think I got across to him that he was acting like a stalker. I mean, it was just really weird to me. Now, I've never had anything like that happen on any other platform, so I just pulled my Facebook away. I said, you know what? Let's use LinkedIn, let's use Instagram, let's use Twitter, and we've done okay with it. But it's my attitude is negative toward Facebook.
Right. So it's like, I guess it's a double-edged sword, because Facebook is the most used platform on the planet. It's got like over 2 billion users worldwide. And, it's a platform that either fortunately or unfortunately is actively used from people of all ages, right from 24 to 65 plus, male and female. So people of all ages, all male, female, are all actively engaged on Facebook. So people previously considered Facebook to be a place where only kids kind of converged and hung out, but now the kids are not on Facebook; they're on Snapchat.
Yeah, I we'll talk about Snapchat too. I think a lot of people I know that use Facebook need rehab because they are addicted to it.
Yes.
I go out to dinner with some of our friends, and they're taking pictures all night, taking pictures of their food, taking pictures. I don't want to be photographed when I have food in my mouth.
I know.
I'm trying to have dinner with my friends. These people have their phones out there on their plates.
Oh my God.
And they're dealing. Basically, they can't take their eyes off their phones. So the millennials are very guilty of this. But I just think it's too much. I think you need to put your phone down once in a while.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And Facebook is very addicting.
Yeah, it is.
So, but let's talk about Snapchat for a second. We never talk about what's the latest with Snapchat.
Yeah, so Snapchat, so they recently had a new UI upgrade, and there's been a lot of backlash from people that are finding it very difficult to use it after that upgrade, because it's changed completely. So what people were earlier, they kind of figured out how to use it and they were using it, now are finding it difficult to use it and to make sense of it. So people of a certain age group, non-millennials, have always felt challenged to figure out what this Snapchat is, and now more so because they've changed again. So Snapchat is very squarely focused on millennials, and it's let's say a main power is the place where millennials hang out and are extremely active on. So if brands want to speak to millennials, like all the like the kids brands, the shoe brands, sneakers, the fashion brands, sneakers, watches, electronics, etc., they all want to be on Snapchat because that's the only place where they can have access to that, target audience,
right?
Without any problem, because otherwise they couldn't target people per se because of age and privacy and all that.
All right, Rajiv, I'm going to ask you to put on your consultant hat now.
Absolutely.
Okay, we have some time left in the show.
Yep.
And we have been thinking about broadcasting a video transmission of Radio Jobline.
That's a great idea.
Instagram allows us to do 1-minute videos. Charles
Correct.
takes them every week. We do three a week?
Yes, 3 a week. Yep.
And but it's not that much. I have television experience. I was on TV for 24 years, so I probably do pretty well with it if I could get it in here and focus the cameras, whatever.
Yep.
But what would be the best way to broadcast it?
Yeah, so the best way is that, and also, to your point, this actually could be similar to the Howard Stern show, because Howard Stern show initially was just radio and that's it. And then somebody had the idea of, hey, you know what? Maybe people would like to see this guy and with his antics or whatever, and his, very over-the-top personality engage with guests, and they were like, let's try it out. And then now that's become its own thing, the TV show, which is a radio show. So that just says that these two media are, there is a convergence possible. So, and especially since, you and your crew, you're, very, very interesting, engaging, lively people. I can tell that people would perhaps be even more engaged if they actually saw the face behind the voice and say like, oh, wow, that seems like a really cool guy and I definitely want to get to know him.
Right.
I want to tune in more so.
And then they'd realize there's no weight limit for radio. All right. But let's talk about broadcasting. So now you mentioned LinkedIn. Now I can post my videos, which a lot of people I'm a LinkedIn user. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But what's the best way to broadcast it?
Yeah. So the best way to broadcast is to do a live broadcast. So the one way to do that is through YouTube. It's been the oldest platform that supports live broadcast. Another way to live broadcast is through Facebook, because you can do a Facebook Live. And because the technology has become, it's all in this, 5-inch screen that everyone carries with them, you can actually just do it straight from your phone, because in order to broadcast, you need access to the internet. And again, that's on your phone. So you just need the phone, a tripod, and you need multiple phones because each phone is then going to broadcast on a different platform. So one phone is going to broadcast on Facebook, another phone is going to broadcast on YouTube, and the third phone could do like those mini, the mini videos for Periscope or, Instagram, etc.
Right. Interesting. Okay. So that would be your best advice.
Yeah, that would be the best way to get it out. And then, as I was explaining earlier, when it's posted, the kind of hashtags you want to use are the hashtags that have the most views and the most searches for. So Instagram does a great job of telling you what hashtag to use as you're typing it. So it'll tell you that NYC has 1 million, hashtag searches or uses as opposed to NEWYORK. It's weird, but the NYC acronym is searched more times than New York spelled out.
Right. See, all that cool little thing like that, that's worth the price of admission.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of people don't know the details that you know.
Exactly.
And that's why I want you to run our video transmission.
Absolutely.
I want you to come in here and just one time get it right for us, show us how to do it.
Yep.
And,
Happy to.
And we'll give you full credit for it.
Absolutely.
All over the globe.
Happy to.
Now, listen, talk to us about your company. So if people want to get involved with live transmissions, if they want to get their website to be number one, there's so many things that you can help them with.
Yep.
They want to be on more platforms, but they don't know which one to be on.
Right.
They don't have the details. They don't have the knowledge. They don't have the research.
Right.
There's all of these things you can do and more.
Yes.
But how do people reach you?
Right. So they can reach by calling the number 646-249-3561.
Say it again.
646-249-3561.
Okay.
So that's the number that they can call and they'll speak
and the
to
website.
It. Yes, and the website is RSquare.media.
RSquare.media.
So you can type that directly, or you can also type www.rsquare.media. Either way.
Tell people they don't have to dial the www anymore.
Yeah, they don't. But
I still see people doing it once in a while.
I know. It's like you don't need to do that anymore.
Right. It's so many things have changed. People like myself who are 400 and plus years old, we have seen the entire social media revolution.
I know.
From Quicks memory typewriters in 1980 to the first Mac 512 in 1984 through the birth of social media. We've seen it all.
Yep.
And there was a time when I didn't think social media was going to be what it was cracked up to be. I think a lot of people are on the fence about it. Is it going to be the next great thing? Is it going to, or is it not?
Right.
And I remember when Twitter came out, I said, being the marketing idiot that I am, so I'm going, Twitter, 140 characters? Who needs that?
Yeah.
You could do the same thing anywhere with many more characters, no limitations. And of course, I turned out to be so wrong about that. How many users does Twitter have?
Yeah, but it's been a while for them to get that. In fact, for many, many years, almost 5-6 years in, they were still, revenue negative. They were still not profitable. Right now, they barely are kind of breaking even.
Yeah.
So it's not per se a rosy road, but TV definitely has helped Twitter out in a big way by TV stations using hashtags and
also Trump with his crazy tweets. How much more traffic did that create?
Oh, of course, yeah.
So let's not even talk about that. So all right. So broadcast is the newest thing. That more and more platforms are doing.
Yes.
You gave us some education about Snapchat, which we didn't have.
Yep.
We know how to use LinkedIn already. We certainly do that enough. You're going to come back and talk to us again about a video transmission.
Absolutely.
Maybe you and I will grab breakfast one day.
Absolutely.
And we'll talk about it, and you'll give me explicit instructions so Charles can do it. We're going to put Charles in charge of that.
Yep.
And that's why we call him Charles in Charge.
Yep.
And I want to thank you so much, Rajiv, for doing the job of two companies today.
Yep, absolutely. Happy to.
And this was such a great segment to talk about social media and a great opportunity and something we love to talk about. Please come and see us more often, at least once a year.
Yeah, for sure. And in fact, just a quick shout out. So like some of the other services that we're really known for is being able to dominate Google Page One. So we're able to deliver more than one instance on page one, sometimes as many as 3 to 4 times being seen on page one.
All right, give the number one more time.
Yeah, it's 646-249-3561.
Okay, we're going to be back next week with another show. Lots more to come. If you have an idea for Radio Jobline, just write to me, scott@linewsradio.com, and Charles will book you on the show. Have a great week, everybody. Happy hunting.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.